What's good, y'all? If you guys don't know who I am T.I.'s daughter's Hyman, and I'm here to talk about social anxiety because I've sat around and I've watched a lot of people without social anxiety criticize Summer Walker for trying to nicely explain her social anxiety. And so now, as someone with social anxiety, I would like to tell all of you to politely kiss my ass. And Summer's and everybody else who has social anxiety's ass would like a kiss from you if you are a person without social anxiety that is trying to tell us how we are supposed to govern ourselves as people with social anxiety. First of all, before we even get into that, this segment is called What is Life, which usually takes place on my Patreon. Click the link below if you're interested. It's only $2 a month. Those $2 may not change your life, but enough of your $2 will greatly impact mine, so I appreciate it. So I've sat around and I've watched people tell Summer how she's supposed to handle these situations, but people really don't understand social anxiety. So before we get angry, even though I just told you to kiss our ass, let's just discuss social anxiety. Because a lot of people would see my YouTube channel and they would go, oh, this guy's probably pretty outgoing, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's always like up in there. No, that's the thing about social anxiety, is that it is tricky and it is circumstantial and it is sometimes, but it is not for you to define. And it's not even for us to pick and choose as to when it activates. We just kind of always have to guard it like this little crystal gem that we always have to deal with. Well, what is social anxiety? Well, first thing I want to say is if you're one of those people that is part of this big mental health initiative that's going on for clicks or for whatever else, my social anxiety is a part of that depression and anxiety y'all talk about all the time. It's valid. It's not for you to write off. It is just as much of a part as mental health as everything else. So if you are a proponent of mental health and you really like mental health, then you need to validate this form of anxiety. Because when I was a kid, we didn't have anyone like Summer Walker or a big star coming out and saying, hey, I suffer from social anxiety and it's extremely tiring and it's fucking me up. Nobody did that. When I was a kid, it was just like, why the fuck can't you be cool? And I kind of felt that way too. Like, yo, why can't I be cool? What is wrong with me? I know I'm so cool, but every time I get in these environments, I can't be cool. I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm inadvertent to the cool. You know what I like in social anxiety too? If you watch Insecure, I love Insecure because Insecure takes this quirky white girl trope, like awkward from like that old show that used to be on MTV, like, oh, look, like I'm fumbly and stumbly. That's like the awkward, the Jennifer Lawrence character, but it applies it to a black girl in black circumstances. And I think usually, especially in the black community, when you see like that fumbly stumbly white girl character, you just see it as a trope and you write it off. But if we're talking mental health in the black community, you can't just take certain things and decide that they don't apply to you and your people. And that's not fair because social anxiety exists within black people. And if you watch Insecure, you see Issa have so much sense and completely understand what's going on and how to act, and then as soon as she gets into the conversation with the man or whoever she's talking to or the bad situation or whatever it is, she just fucks it. Like, she just messes up and she's stuck consistently having to clean up messes because she can't handle things right in the first place socially. Like when she told Daniel, you're just an itch I was trying to scratch. She didn't mean that, but she couldn't take it back. You know, it's social anxiety. It manifests in multiple ways in multiple people. But if I could explain it concisely, what I would say is it's a consistent hyper-awareness of yourself to a point of exhaustion. You're constantly like, am I sitting right? Am I doing right? I make a joke with my friends all the time, like, I'm sitting here and I don't know what to do with my thumbs. Like, when I get nervous, I don't know what to do with my thumbs. But that's the minute details you focus on. Are my thumbs in the right place? Where are my earrings? Like, you drive yourself crazy trying to present as normal, when most people are just normal. Like, most people just exist. They don't have that extra level of processing. And because those interactions are so stressful, because let's say you have a social interaction with someone and it doesn't go well, or you do something that you know you shouldn't have done. You know you shouldn't have done. Like, let's say with me, I'm a projector. Let's say during a situation I talk a little bit too loud. I will sit in bed that night till 3 a.m. like, why the fuck were you that loud? You didn't need to be that loud. Don't be that loud. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And so it just makes you feel like in order to stop that, to find inner peace, you need distance from people that aren't in your inner circle because you don't want to have that reaction that fucks you up on the back end, right? It's a lot. It's a whole lot. So it leaves you in this situation where it's like, I really should do my best to avoid people, but you can't avoid people. That's not reality. You have to participate in people and life in society, especially if you have a life in entertainment. So your job is then to deal, but sometimes you have to succeed and fail in real time. So if we're gonna apply this to Summer Walker, let's talk meet and greets. Because Summer Walker's been on tour and she's been under scrutiny for the meet and greets, right? And everything that's just been bugging her. If you think about everything that I just told you about someone who's hyper aware. First of all, I know you think because you paid your little $50 extra $100 for a meet and greet ticket that you are now allowed to just walk in and treat the celebrity like a zoo animal for 5 minutes. But if the celebrity decides that they don't want to be touched, that's not like shade. That's just kind of like, don't touch me. And I kind of feel like everybody has a right to say don't touch me. Like, what's the deal? My thing is, the people that are in charge of Summer Walker need to know this about Summer and could circumvent that. Summer shouldn't have to be the bad guy. There should be somebody outside that's looking at the line that says, when you walk in there, do not touch Summer. Do not bring up social anxiety. Do not ask anything stupid. Do not be ridiculous. You know, like, just prep them for the rules, and then people will follow the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't want to be touched. We have those pictures of Britney Spears. Like how it's funny at Britney meet and greets how no one gets to touch her, but Britney Spears also deals with social anxiety. And then you guys want to say, well, why doesn't she just not do meet and greets then? Then don't do it. Social anxiety is not respected. Clearly, as you can see, it's not really even respected by you if you're saying that. When you're an artist these days, you don't make a lot of your money from music. The music alone is not where you make most of your money. You make most of your money off of tour. So if you're making most of your money off of tour, then you have all these people around you basically saying, all you gotta do is just meet like 20 fans. All you gotta do is meet 20 fans and you increase the bag for all of us. What, are you gonna be selfish? Most of the time you're gonna feel like social anxiety in my life has always been my cross to bear. So I'll just bear it. And you try to take it on. It just so happens maybe in this situation, it's gotten too big because things have gotten too big for her. And her talent and her superstardom maybe has grown further than she has as a person right now. And that's fine. But people should be respectful of that. And all I'm asking that is, if you're gonna be a fan of Summer Walker going forward, you do need to know what you're getting into, going into at least meet and greets. I always felt like from the beginning that meet and greets were for stands in the beginning. So maybe she hasn't been able to really accumulate stands that would really like get it. I don't know, but I kind of feel like people know what's going on with their fave when they go into that meet and greet. Like the day I went to the Nicki Minaj meet and greet in 2011, and her boob popped out on GMA the day earlier, I was like, she probably is not going to be in the best mood. But I still went. You just gotta know who you stand and where they are, and you have to be compassionate. And if not, don't buy a meet and greet ticket. That's just how I feel. Because Summer's allowed to process life in real time. As a creative, as an artist, like, I get you didn't like the experience, but you're not the first person to have a bad meet and greet, girl. And that's not really Summer's fault. I more blame the people in charge of her for putting her in that position where she wasn't gonna succeed. Why? For y'all to get a bag? That's stupid. Let's go back to talking about social anxiety. Because when you're a person with social anxiety, it makes you really hard to celebrate. People with social anxiety sometimes aren't the most celebratory people because you experience most of your life underneath somewhat of an invisibility cloak to survive, because when people sniff out that social anxiety, all hell usually breaks loose. And so when it's time to celebrate, you do something that's really good, you don't want to. It's very hard because it's kind of like, I survived my entire life off of invisibility and now you want me to like be here and be present. I don't even really know what to do with that. And then with all these people watching me, I'm gonna do something that's gonna fuck up. And then people will discover that I'm weird and unlovable and everything is going to shit. I bet you as a person without social anxiety, you don't think about things like that, do you? Right, I bet you don't. But if you're a person like Summer Walker, or how I can honestly say now, like you see it in Kid Fury, who's always been like a social anxiety icon for me, which is part of the reason why I fell in love with him so early, because I was a kid with social anxiety, didn't really know what that meant. I don't even know if he had the language to put into it, but when I saw him, I saw it. You know what I mean? And you can see there's a lot of things going on. The Read is on Fuse, he's working on an HBO show, he's also got a really poppin' podcast, and people want him to be happy, and he's kind of looking at you like, leave me the fuck alone. And you can see it in Summer Walker on stage. Everything is going well. The music has blown up. Your album is being called a classic already, and you're on stage and you are just like, oh my god, oh my god. And I totally get it. As a paying customer, you don't want to have time for that. But as a person, I completely understand where she's coming from and maybe why she feels like on stage, maybe I'm just not ready, maybe all this is too much, like maybe this is happening really fast. and maybe I'm just gonna stand here because if I were to just like let loose on stage, maybe I would do something weird. Maybe I would do something that's, that could be judged. And that is something you feel in person. That's not something you feel over the screen. A lot of people see the way she acts on Instagram and then they go, well, you could do all that on Instagram. Why can't you be on stage? Because it's not called social media anxiety, you dick beak. It's not that. You are more and totally capable of having an interaction with the camera because you always know that you get to tailor make the reception of it when you do it in editing. You get to control how people receive you on social media. But when you have social anxiety, you don't have that control, and that fucks you up. So Summer Walker can definitely be on live and post Instagram stories and do those things because it's comfortable, because it's a safe distance from the opinion, because you can get your shit off, and if you don't read it, it doesn't exist. So maybe that's why maybe she's a little bit more lively on social media, because social media is not real social interaction. And if you think that it is, you're part of the problem. A lot of people feel like, well, why don't you have any stage presence? You're dancing on your boyfriend. What do you mean you have social anxiety? So back to the way that social anxiety works. When you say, I want to live underneath this invisibility cloak, most of the time you have a close-knit group of people that get to experience the real you. We're really good at tailoring these groups of little families that have proven that they don't find you nearly as weird, or they don't judge you nearly as much as you judge yourself. And you learn to calm down around these people, and they become like your safety net in a way. And I think that's perfectly okay for people with social anxiety to have that. Like, I don't get what the problem is. I feel like everybody experiences having different comfort levels with different people. But people with social anxiety, there's a stark line between I am comfortable with you and please leave my space, red alert. There's a stark line between the two. So yes, Summer Walker can dance on her boyfriend because that is her boyfriend. You at a meet and greet are not her boyfriend, so leave her alone. Last but not least, let's talk about the empath point. Because I think a lot of people who have social anxiety, first of all, have social anxiety because they receive a lot of energy and information. You're constantly thinking of what the outside perception is of you and of things. If you have social anxiety, that's just the way that goes. And so you're very receptive to energy. So for me, I realized I can't be vented at. I'm not really good at being vented at because I don't like taking on people's negativity. And that's not saying that my friends, like people that I genuinely care about, that I will take that on for, that I won't do that. What I'm saying is I'm very careful about who I let vent to me. I'm very careful about what I let into my space, because that can really mess with you if you're not really thinking about your energy balance. I will take on negativity if you come to me with your bad day. Summer may be the same way because she is an empath. She's gonna have to learn how to build those walls because maybe she's been in a little bubble this entire time before she started meeting people who she doesn't know that just love her. You know what I mean? Like, as an empath, you do have to be weary about that. And I understand a lot of you people are not tuned into that, but that's your business. I don't believe that people go through things and people are having hard times on the internet for no reason. I don't believe that people tell you, hey, I feel like I'm a different gender than what I was born as, and my life is gonna be hard now. And I don't believe people are choosing that. I don't believe people wanna be different. I don't believe people wanna have a hard time. I don't believe people wanna be ostracized. I believe in people. And I don't know why y'all just won't just let people tell you who they are. It's so frustrating. But what I can say is, I'm thankful for Summer Walker for speaking up about having social anxiety. I want people to learn more about social anxiety. People have to understand that social anxiety is struggling, asking for help. Like, just suffering in silence because you can't ask for help. Or feeling like, am I being me or am I just trying to be liked? Like, what am I doing? Having to just leave places, like feeling like I'm overwhelmed, I have to leave, I have to go. Or not being able to handle eye contact and apologizing for little things. But overall, judging yourself because you can't handle that shit is the worst part of it. Is that the first person that judges you for having social anxiety is you. So I know in my heart that Summer Walker just feels like, why can't I just do it? Like, why can't I just do the meet and greet? Like, why can't I just do it? Like, I wish I could just do it to just shut you up. But she's trying. Even after her Tiny Desk, where people were being really mean to her after her Tiny Desk performance, she was like, I want to let everybody know that, like, I am excited to be here. I just have very bad social anxiety, and so I know, like, I may look uncomfortable, but this is really cool. And then she started calling out people in the band and people back. She was like, oh, I love when he does this and that does that. She wasn't lying. She watches Tiny Desk all the time, and she was really excited to be there. She couldn't just show it because she had to process so much internally before she got there. Social anxiety is not the same for everyone. There are different levels of it. we get better. I personally think that my social anxiety has gotten so much better over the years. College really helped me. My friends helped me. YouTube has helped me. A lot of people don't realize why my sign off is what it is, but I wanted to do YouTube for a long time and I was always just scared about the reception. I couldn't put out the video. I just couldn't get past myself. And so honestly, I just said, you know what, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If not, suck a dick. Because I just couldn't deal with me thinking about what everyone was gonna think about what I wanted to do. So it's like, if you don't like it, suck a dick, dead ass. And that's what I say every time. And so that mantra has helped me get past my own fear of what people think about whatever the fuck I'm gonna do. And I've gotten better because of it, because now I can genuinely say a lot of times I don't care, but I did for a very long time. So please, as people battle social anxiety, have compassion. Have compassion for Summer Walker. Realize that not a lot of people are perfect. Maybe just don't buy a meet and greet ticket, but don't be mean to this person. People are different. She's trying to tell you what she's going through. And just don't be an asshole. Like, I don't really know what to tell you. I'm sure she would rather not be going through any of this. I think it was just her and the music for a long time. And I think her music has just brought these people around faster than maybe the person has come around. So you have to give her a chance to grow. And if not, that's fine. I will, because I'll be around for another album, concert, meet and greet or not. That's all I have to say on this episode of What Is Life. So if you like this What Is Life, we do these over on Patreon. Please do. I did this one here because it was an intersection between pop culture and like mental health stuff, but I do talk about a lot of life stuff on my Patreon. So if you like this, please go over there and check that out. And as usual, because you already know we get into that mantra, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if not, suck a dick. See how that works? And I'll be seeing you guys later.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Deuce.